Let's start with the breaking news. Pam Bondi has been very involved with AFPI the last couple of years. Tell us about this excellent selection of Pam Bondi as Attorney General.
Well, listen, Pam Bondi, in fact, just got off the phone with her to get onto your show. She helped us at the very dark days, Charlie. There weren't a lot of us that were still in the MAGA, America First, Donald Trump, keep marching forward world, early 2021. A lot of people thought the movement was dead. We, of course, knew better. But Pam Bondi, from the moment we even discussed putting together a massive new effort that is founded on the first term of President Trump's policy wins for the next 100 years, Pam was there. She is a warrior. She built our litigation team. Of course, her time in Florida as Attorney General, she was tough, she was smart, but she was beloved. I mean, she is the epitome of the America First movement, and she's going to crush it as AG.
Yeah, and the liberals, the left, they're losing their mind. I want to play this from MSNBC yesterday and get your reaction, Brooke. Just this outrageous reaction from, I think it's Ari Melber, and they're not having a good couple of weeks, and it's not going to get better. Play cut 80.
They're not.
Pam Bondi is exactly what I was saying in the last segment that we should all fear, because she's competent. We may not agree with her ideologically, but she actually knows how to do this job. So if anyone on the Democratic side or anyone who cared about liberty or justice was thinking, well, maybe Matt Gaetz will screw this up and that'll give us some time. No, Pam Bondi knows what she's doing. She knows what she's doing about immigration. Remember, Florida is one of those states that's been very aggressive about migrants and deportation and moving people to different states and everything else like that. Florida has enacted all sorts of rules and laws to curtail students and what they can do on campuses and finding legal justifications for manipulating education money. She is a dangerous and effective pick, and that's frankly worse than what we would have got with Matt Gaetz, even with the deplorable moral background that he has.
Yeah, and I want to discuss that with a little more depth with both of you, including her record on civil rights, LGBTQ rights, and other issues that are front and center at the DOJ, and which we know were also big campaign issues this cycle.
Brooke, I mean, I can't think of a better endorsement. Brooke Rollins.
I can't believe for the first time in the history of all time, I actually agree with someone on MSNBC. Like, this is a banner day for a lot of different reasons. But listen, they're right. They're completely right. She is competent. She knows what she's doing. She was one of the most, if not the most successful state attorney general. And Charlie, you and I have long so believed that the states really are the guardians at the gate. And that, coming up through the state process and building a book of business and policy wins in the states is really perhaps the best way to prepare for a big job like Attorney General. I think this is maybe his most important pick. Others may disagree with that, but I think, Treasury, Commerce, Education, those are all extremely important game-changing positions. But this position, Attorney General, I believe could be the most important. And I think he's got an absolute winner in Pam Bondi.
And so let's go through just quickly some of the policy. What would you like to see the Department of Justice do from a policy perspective? We obviously going after child sex trafficking, cracking down on illegal immigration. What policies would you like to see the Department of Justice focus on?
Listen, the two you just mentioned are top of the list, but for me, we have a once in a lifetime, perhaps once in a country's history time, an opportunity to de-weaponize government. And we all know this, right? We turn into a banana republic. President Trump was facing almost 1,000 years in prison for some documents. I mean, this was insanity. They tried to put him in jail. They tried to impeach him. They tried to kill him. And so the DOJ and what Pam will eventually lead, pending Senate confirmation, which I see no problem there, is the absolute most important thing, I think, that the Department of Justice, and one of the most important things I think that this next administration must tackle and win, and that is taking the government out and getting the weaponization out of our government. And that's what I think Pam will lead, and I think she'll be very successful.
So I want to kind of go around the horn here, but I want to play one more piece of tape here of Pam Bondi's record when it comes to illegal immigration, which, again, the Department of Justice has been like a sister agency for the open borders agenda. When she was Attorney General of Florida, she would go after illegal migrants that were coming into Florida, and the Department of Justice plays a very important role there. I don't think we have that tape, but let's just broaden it more, Brooke. Brooke, what would you say of the other personnel and policy positions that President Trump has selected? Let's go around the horn, from Bobby Kennedy to Linda McMahon to Tulsi Gabbard. What is your analysis of the team that President Trump is assembling?
Well, first, and to the original thought, the mass deportation, the securing our borders. I mean, to keep America, that is absolutely top of the list. I think that Tom Homan with Kristi Noem, others are going to do a great job. But to your point, Charlie, you're always right that partnership with the DOJ is going to be absolutely paramount to being able to succeed at that. Going around the horn, I've been talking a lot about the election of 1800 when there was a massive inflection point, right? George Washington said, I'm going to step away. No one could believe it. No one had ever walked away from power before. Thomas Jefferson won that race. You then fast forward to the 1860-64 with Abraham Lincoln and his team of rivals, another inflection point in American history. Then you move into the 1920s, FDR, 1930s, another inflection point. Well, Charlie, in 500 years, they're going to talk about 2024 as the fourth inflection point in American history, and perhaps the point that saved America and our founding fathers' vision of the Constitution and freedom and liberty. And so the team that he has assembled, from the incredible Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, I know, Charlie, you've been such a big part of that, the Doge effort, to the Tulsi Gabbard, the John Ratcliffe, the Bobby Kennedy. I mean, whoever. Charlie, when you and I started working together a decade ago, I'm not sure that we certainly would have dreamt of a moment like this, but I'm not sure that either one of us could have ever hoped for this sort of team of rivals, of game changers, of transformational figures all coming together to meet the moment, to live in this miracle that we find ourselves in, the big win from 2 weeks ago, but now the most important part, the opportunity to really govern and take our country back, is remarkable. We're living in the middle of history.